lot from different friends because they all had they all had their own dogs at the time, and somehow the dog scene died, and so did the interest, and so did the ownership of some of these dogs. And then you have an explosion a little while after that happens. Because I remember when the time you're talking about, I moved out of my mom's house when I was 22 years old, and I bought my property, a little house with a big lot. My dream was always to build it up with kennels. It was on a hilltop, and my neighbors were kind of a distance. My neighbors owned horses, chickens, and roosters, and donkeys, and goats. So this area was like perfect. It was like a mini ranch zoning. So I was like, fuck. My direct neighbor in the back has fucking donkeys. And if you don't know what it's like living next to a donkey, they make their noise all the fucking time. The neighbors across the street have peacocks. Day and night, they make their calls loud as shit. So at the time I'm moving in with 7 dogs, I'm like, that's my biggest concern. Me moving into a neighborhood that's gonna fucking not go crazy over the sound of 7 pit bulls tied up in different parts of the yard, because I didn't move in with money to build the kennel and everything. So I was like, perfect. I don't got no direct neighbors that can peek over and look at my operation and what I got going on. And the neighbors I do have are such a distance away that the immediate noise of 7 dogs and the smell of 7 dogs ain't gonna bother them. So I was like, yeah, I got my perfect house in 2002. The end of 2002, the beginning of 2003. I'm here for a couple of years. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing great. The money is absolutely beautiful. I'm young, doing everything I want to do. My mom's telling me, don't be dumb, save your money. Don't trip, Mom. I make money like nothing. And those words always stuck to me because of what happened when you're talking about when those dogs weren't selling them.
Yeah.
I went through that. At that time, I had like 15 to 20 dogs here at my house. I'm used to selling everything I breed. The time was good. The people had money. They were buying it. Boom. And I was breeding a lot. Then no one tells you what's going on. You're not smart enough to read the market. I don't slow down on production of my dogs. Now I'm getting stuck with all these dogs that I can't sell for the ticket I'm used to selling. And I'm trying to keep my pride up there. My price is up there as well. And then I'm getting stuck with these dogs to the point where now my only income came from dogs. I'm spending a grip feeding them, and I'm still paying the house note with no sales for years.
Right.
During the recession time, and everybody's losing homes, and no one's buying these beautiful dogs, and people are giving out these dogs that you spend $3,000 to $5,000 on. You could have it. I'm losing my house. So I'm going through that same era, and I lost my property. Not lost it, but I almost lost it, and I was able to make it back. But it's that time you're talking about where you couldn't get the money you're used to, and you had to get like bottom dollar, in your opinion. It's a heartbreaking thing to go from you can't even produce enough for these people on the market you have.
Yeah.
To hit that point that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
like what the fuck happened?
You're like, I ain't gonna drop my prices. And at the end of the day, months later, you're like, damn, I can't afford these dogs no more, and I have to drop my prices.
Yeah.
It's not even worth doing it no more because I'm facing this fucking hardship with them right now.
Bills have to be paid regardless. Yeah.
I lived all that. See, there's certain people that experience the joy of doing what happens when you have popular dogs and cool colors at that time. Is like you experience this fucking level of life that hardworking Americans can't enjoy because you're making so much money off of your hobby. This is the thing you can relate to. While this is happening, you're in a cloud and you're thinking this is never going to go away. Ever. You're just going to be able to live from breeding dogs and selling them and in hopes in years signing them for triple or double the money you're doing now. That's what your vision is telling you because of how successful you're being.
Absolutely.
And then you hit this economy crash that happens every 10 to 15 years, and you're not ready to understand it. That's why, look, I stopped for years. I think in 2017, I think the market started getting great again. Like top dollar started hitting the market.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started stacking up money and making good money again, because I was surviving with this $300 bill a month at that time for just feeding my dogs, because I had foundation stock I didn't want to get rid of. I worked so hard to make it, and then how the fuck am I going to sell it or get rid of it and go get a job? Because I was so close to going to get a job, because ever since I moved into my new property at 22 years old, I've never had a job. Before then, yes, for years. Even before legally I was able to have a job, my parents let me go to work with fake visa or whatever you needed to work.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 14, I was already out there making my money, only to come back and in hopes to buy a dog and have enough money to do the year of dog food, so I can go back in the summer and go make some more money, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I was used to making all this money, and I'm not getting a job because I got money stacked. And then during the time I was able to buy, not rent, because if I rented a house, moving out of my parents' house with 7 pit bulls, no one would rent you a house. So it was almost impossible. But the economy was giving away houses. All you had to do was come in with the right paperwork, and you could get your own house as long as you're making the payments on time.
Mm-hmm.
So with no job, I'm able to move into this house. And then within a year's time, my property value goes up. I'm talking to real estate buddies, and they're making so much money. They talk me into getting money out of this house to go and buy another house.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm 24, 25 years old, I own $1 million worth of property. And the recession hits. My renters at the other property move out. Now I got to cover 2 mortgages. So my life savings that I'm making so good with these dogs disappears. I think it's $7,000-8,000 a month that I'm paying for 2 properties. Bankruptcy on one property, I lose it. This one I'm able to save, and luckily I'm able to survive until the market gets good again, and I got a kennel full of dogs, and now I'm getting good top dollar again, and I'm able to live it out again, for years, for selling top dollar dogs, starting from $5,000 to $15,000 at a time, for per puppy.
Yeah.
And I would want to sell. I would get offered more for the dogs I didn't want to sell, but I didn't sell them because they were my future foundation. But if you're a dog lover, you could just not get rid of your dogs during the difficult times. Sometimes I never had a family like that. I was always living with girlfriends that were here with me, but I never had kids, and I never had that struggle that a lot of my friends stopped breeding because they had to focus on their family and starting, to take care of that.
Right.
And prioritize that over the dogs.
Right. Yeah, see, that's the thing, too, is like, I get countless emails, countless IG messages every single day of, I got this female and I want to take her to a stud and I want to start my kennel. And I'm just like, listen, bro, like, you're not going to get rich until you do the long haul. When you do the long haul,
no one shows that difficult stage in your life, right?
Yeah.
Where you're buying the wrong dogs and learning everything about the dogs the wrong way.
You're fucked.
But your passion lets you keep on learning until you finally, if you stay long enough, then you get to figure it out.
But that's the point right there. It's just like I'm telling these kids that are in their 20s and they got some dogs and they want to do this. They're asking me advice. I said, listen, dude, I'm not even a full-time breeder. I do the YouTube thing. I run my registry, and I have some really nice dogs that I will drop a litter off of here and there. But outside of that, the only breeders I know that actually make money and make a living are the long-term breeders. That whole golden age is over. Mm-hmm. Where it was all, glamour and people were spending thousands of dollars on puppies. unless you're an OG in the game, they're not spending thousands on puppies anymore.
Yeah, like it's got that name to sell that
yeah, exactly,
or that style of dog, that
exactly.
Dog.
I think everybody wants to be a breeder now, and just like, you know, I did music for over 20 years. Everybody wants to be a rapper now. Everybody wants to be a producer now.
If you're a good promoter, you know to show that. So these people that are on the outside looking in, and that's the trick to growing. I've never showed the struggle. Have I struggled? Yes. I don't show super sales. I don't deduct my prices. I do everything in private. But you have to know how to keep your brand alive through the hardships, because people get disappointed when you start selling dogs to them with the good era, 5 to 10,000, and then you're struggling to survive during the struggles, and you're giving that same blood for half the price. It discourages the owners of that bloodline to even keep it going. You know,
big facts.
So either you got to be smart enough to put your program on pause, because you're not going to survive selling top dollar dogs during the bad era. You're going to survive by keeping your foundation, breeding for yourself during the bad times, and then when the good times come, you got your yard full of dogs. It's not like you're hearing from a friend that this is popping again and you got to buy little puppies and start over again. If you're there to capitalize off the golden age of, because I've experienced like 3 different golden ages, and it's not new. Whenever the economy's bad, all the extras and the luxuries go. When the economy's good, people don't know what the fuck to spend money on. Getting cars, home renovations, horses or dogs and gold, and there's money flowing. So during those times, if you got your yard established to produce puppies, and all right, people got money now, they're spending it, and you still got an OG name and an OG bloodline, boom, there you go again. Your shit just got revived.
Facts,
I don't know if you've experienced that or been a breeder like that, but since I've been owning my house, I owned 15 to 30 dogs because of the passion of it, not because of the money. Like I said, I could have made tons of money if I would have involved with all the big names, colors, and what everybody was supposedly paying for top dollar at any given time. There's always different fads that come in. But I've always kept it true to the vision of the bloodline. And yeah, people might be saying they're $30,000 dogs, 50,000 and 100,000. I'm cool. If I'm getting 5 to 10 or 12 or 8 or 4, it's good. That's enough money for me. You know, I experienced being the high. I don't know if I was the only one, but I was at one point when my dogs were super popular. I was getting $3,000 to $5,000 when people were getting $800 to $1,000, $1,500. I was getting $3,000, and people were calling me crazy. And then the people that had my bloodline where I came, where RBG, King Lion, our dogs were so popular. That's why I asked you the question earlier. That how did you feel when you had one litter that people were like paying more than you were asking? Because for generations that kept on happening in my world. I would sell out at a certain price, and I would be like, damn, people kept on asking. I was smart enough to know how to produce a certain style and not produce dogs just to sell my customers. I sold them the look that they want. So they had to wait, but I was able to top my prices for litter after litter because they would sell out too fast. And it became a point where I would be like, damn, that one sold for X amount of dollars. This litter, I'm going to ask 500 more. That one sold out. I'm going to ask 500 more next time. That one sold out. I'm going to ask 500 next time, and 1,000 more next time, and 1,000 more next time. And you got your popularity. I got my popularity. I'm working my promos. I'm doing my thing. And I'm on, you know, a little bit about my history is I learned the game, and then I learned the promotion. And then I learned who my customers were that had extra money. So I was street people and rappers and sports people were like my number one customers. And then,
that's what I wanted to get to next. The DPG.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Okay, so I had a producer friend that was producing at a very young age for Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Corrupt and Snoop and everybody that was associated that I was a big fan of. He was working with. He came to me from one of my friends, Patrick, because he was in the music, and Terrence was really into pit bulls, and he was really passionate about it. So once he met me, I was at a point of the game where I wasn't doing free dogs no more, and I didn't care how big you were. You had to pay me my money because I had people that really made money that were spending at my kennel. So if you really, in my mind, if you really had money, it wasn't nothing to pay me what I was asking for. If you were pretending you had money, then you would come and try to negotiate with me and this and that. So when I met him, they were really on this, hey, he'll do this for you if you give him a dog. And he got done dirty by this breeder, and these people didn't give him his paperwork. But, you know, I showed him your dog. Can we come over? Yeah, come over. He really likes this dog. Let's work something out. It was always a middleman because he was always a real popular person. And my friend was always talking for him on. I kept on telling him, nah, bro. Like, if you use a dog, these are my prices. And because he liked my program so much when he came over, and because I would gladly answer any question he had over the phone, spend hours with him. It was never too late or never too early. I knew who I was talking to, so I was eager to talk to him too, but I wasn't going to break down my price. Mm-hmm. So he ends up coming and buying a dog from me, and then he comes over, understands my whole life. I show him everything I got going on. So as a surprise, hey, don't trip, I'm going to do this for you. That collaboration with Corrupt happened, where the first rap song came about. At the time, many different kennels were having their friends that knew how to rap, or some sort of relative that knew how to rap. It was real popular to have your own kennel song. Not everybody had it, but if you had the access, you had your name, and you had your name rapped along with these kennel songs. My friend knew about that, so I don't know why or how his idea was I'm going to make a song for this dude. Without me knowing, my friend that introduced me to him knows plenty about me and my dogs and dogs, where they get corrupt, they get problem, they get bad luck, they get my friend Pro's also in that Corrupt music video. That's a dog friend that brought Terrence Martin. It's a Hispanic guy in that music. And Corrupt is in there. I sell Terrence a dog. He surprises me with the audio of that song. Then I say, hey, I'll give up a puppy to Corrupt if we can make a music video to the song. So all this is documented on my YouTube 17, 20, 18 years ago.
Yeah, I remember. I remember the whole thing. I just wanted you to say it on record for the channel.
Yeah, so I got surprised with the song that was the Blue Line Anthem, the first one. And then I agree to, I'm so happy with the song because it murders a lot of stuff out there. Because the beat is insane because it's done by a real producer. And then I got my childhood favorite rapper in the fucking song with some pretty hot new rappers in there. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? The song's not going to go nowhere by itself. Let me do, what is it going to take to get the music video to this? He tells me, cop up with this money, bring the dogs to my house. You're going to have to pay this and this, and we'll make it happen. So I made it happen, and then, because my friend is involved with it, Terrence Martin, he has a relationship with World Star Hip Hop, and it comes out on World Star Hip Hop. Why? Because they're releasing it, they're on it, it's their project. Mm-hmm. They're just doing it for me. So boom, the first one comes out, and then it comes out on World Star Hip Hop, not because I ever knew nothing. I just felt like, hey, let's make a video to this and let's put it on YouTube. But it came out so good because we got some good videographers and stuff that it was good enough to put on World Star Hip Hop. So Terrace, I guess, sends it to them, and then just put it up. That day, message boards are still popping. I'm getting reposted, tagged, text, calls. They're on World Star. At that time, World Star Hip Hop is the biggest thing back.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to World Star, and then you have to pay a certain amount of money if you want to promote on there. So at that time, ain't nobody spending no real money on that type of promotion to get on World Star, you know. So me having my name mentioned, having me and my dogs and my group of people on there with these celebrities, just staples me into a world that now other rappers want to mess with me, other beats, producers, everybody in the music game now wants to get their hands on these extra large pit bulls. And hey, you're friends with Corrupt? I'm not friends with Corrupt, but I'm not telling people that. Yeah, what's up? Facts. What do you want? Hey, let's do it. Can you bring your dogs out to a music video? Hell yeah. What's it going to cost? Nothing. If you're going to make a music video that's going to come out somewhere, I'm going to show up for free, and I'm going to take my 2 or 3 of my dogs and feed us, and that's it. Maybe give us gas money. Boom, I made that music video, and now I was the hottest thing. Not that, you know what? In my head, I was pretty hot, but I don't know where I was with everybody else. In my head, I was like, dude, I'm getting calls, I'm getting emails, I'm getting DMs, I'm getting MySpace messages from some local rappers, and I'm eating it up. Like, hell yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be there. We want a photo shoot with a clothing line. Can your dogs be a prop with a lowrider and a model? Hell yeah, I'll be there. Where? Savannah, LA, Orange County? I don't know. I'm in LA hoods where it's black gangs everywhere. Not a Mexican in sight, but I'm there with the rapper, and I'm there with the justified people from that neighborhood. But the people passing by are saying comments like, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here, homeboy. What's up?" And the neighborhood OG has to come up and be like, "Hey, this gentleman is doing a photo shoot with us, with his pit bulls, and he's in here because of us. Let us do our thing. All right,
yeah, you got the pass.
You gotta go." And I, in my life, never experienced this. Because of the color of my skin, I've predominantly been in brown neighborhoods, not knowing there's just black neighborhoods, and I'm in mixed neighborhoods, and I never get treated like this. But because these guys want, and this happened with what's his name, Glasses Malone. They asked me to be in their photo shoot for some sort of promotion for club flyers and a CD flyer, a CD cover. So I happily go and take my dog, and I experienced this weird fucking treatment from the real fucking neighborhood people that, for some reason, I don't know if they were in beef with Mexican hoods or they just weren't used to seeing Mexicans in there. And my life, I'm not a gang member, but I don't dress like a gang member in my eyes, but I'm affiliated when you look at me. You know what I'm saying? Somehow.
Right.
So at that time, I got money. I'm dressing like I think I'm cool, but I'm dressing like a Southsider. Nice, not full gang banging mode, but blue enough to be considered maybe questionable. So I'm over here happily fucking with my dogs in these neighborhoods, and I don't realize that I'm putting myself in danger and shit. But that's how popular these dogs are. We're getting invites here and there, and limo companies want to do promotion with us. Hey, bring your dog. We're going to show up at pool parties. We're going to show up with a stretch Hummer, stretch Navigator. It's just going to be you and your friends and your dog. My homeboy wants to see your dog, and he's a shot caller of this neighborhood. I mean, they're having a pool party, and they want your dog there. So if you go, and you got the pass to do and be there, no matter what. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is cool. I'm getting to do all these cool shit because I own these dogs that are coming up on magazine, music videos, and I'm making these connections with some crazy people outside of my realm. I don't understand this shit, but I happen to meet pretty cool people that are able to do cool shit. And they want dogs as special guests, or they want photo shoots, and they're willing to pay. Right. Mind you, at no point do I ever know anybody that got paid or got invited just to take their dogs up. So I'm like, hell yeah, 300. And at some point, it takes $300 to get me out to get to you, and I'm getting paid by this. 2 dogs, $300 each, $600. I pulled up. They got their models. They got their music video. We need them, and I had my rules. I got suckered into spending all day at a music video to give my dog 5 seconds on a music video. So years go by, and I start telling people, I'm going to be there for 3 hours. You can work my dogs for 20 minutes at a time. And then if you got different scenes, depending on what time of the day it is, I could give you this. Because I don't like my dogs looking winded. And I don't like my dogs looking sorry on music videos. I want my dogs, tell me where the camera's at. I'm going to be standing behind the camera holding their favorite toy. And it's up to the rapper or the model to hold on to them. And I'm going to give you what you want to see. But, it's going to take this. And then they would understand. They would record what I wanted or what they wanted, and then I could spend 2-3 hours there and then come back home without being there 12 hours at a fucking set, and then being disappointed, getting 5-second glimpse of my dog with a group of people dancing around where my dogs didn't even look. Right. So I got smart enough to demand shit like, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And my dogs need to have X amount of time, and they need to be X amount of scenes if you want X amount of dogs. And then we got invited with Young Jeezy on the all-white music video, certain photo shoot with different celebrities and NBA players and shit. So it became cool where at a certain point I noticed, like you said, everybody wanted to be a rapper at one point. At one point, now everybody wanted to be a breeder. Yeah. And then they became where rappers wanted to become breeders, which blew my motherfucking mind.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, hell, I was one of them at one point.
Right?
Yeah.
But to a certain point, you got certain big caliber fucking rappers getting involved, wanting to attend dog shows, and which I did. And then from the East Coast, other people, I was just blown away when I would be like, what? Now, rappers, breeding is so cool, because when I started breeding, people would make fun of me. You always have your dog, you blah, 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 this and that. And I would always have my dogs. My pits would always be with me, from my red noses to my blues. When I started driving, my pit bull in the back seat, trained, one. Kick it on the roof of my car when I go to visit my friends in the apartments and they don't allow dogs. He would be in a command with a whistle to come to me and to go straight up. I had a Honda Civic, was lowered, and he would jump on the hood and jump on the ceiling and chill up there. Or he would go, I would always see my back windows lowered, and he would be active enough to just jump in and hang out in the back seat. By whistle, he jumps out, comes right to me. Because I only had 2 dogs at a time, his mom and him. So he was fully trained whenever I went anywhere.
I start to think that's a factor. Like, I know there's a lot of guys who have a lot of dogs. But for me personally, I always thought if I had fewer dogs and just implemented more training, the marketing might be a bit better.
And you're right, because you get carried away like I did, right? Because I told you earlier, I'm like, damn, you sold your litter, and did you do some sort of breeder math? Because you say, hey, I have 1 female, and I made this off of 1 litter, but if I had 3 bitches, I would have X amount of dollars in your head.
Right.
So I did that. I did that in my head. I'm like, damn, if at my mom's house, I'm only 7 dogs, but all blue pits, 1 red nose, so 6 blue pits, and I'm making around $30,000 a year. And they had to be a certain breeder math that at 22 years old gave me the confidence to be like, damn, I could take on a fucking household by myself, employed, self-employed, and cover a ranch, not a house, a fucking ranch. And at that point, it costed me around $4,500 to run my whole operation a month. Insurance on the house, payment of the house, dog food money, plus every expense I had. And I took that on at 22 years old. how confident do you got to be in what you're doing to say, I can make this amount of money off of just breeding dogs? And I'm never going to work again in my life. I'm just going to breed dogs.
At what point did you realize, not to cut you off, but at what point did you realize, like, even through the ups and the downs, at what point did you realize, I'm going to be able to do this the rest of my life? Around what age?
When I was a young kid, I wanted to be a dog breeder with his own bloodline. Once I recognized what that was by reading.
No, not again, not to cut you off, but I meant, like, in your career, you got to one place, then another, then another, then another, right? At what point?
Like 21 years old, I must have made enough money, because before I had my own bloodline, I used to look for people on the penny saver that couldn't sell their puppies, because people would keep on calling me for dogs and I couldn't breed them. So I used to go and buy other people's whole litters in the Marine. I remember I used to go into the San Diego Marine Station, and the guys would get their pit bulls and they would go off to do their thing, and the wives would stay home and they would have their dogs have puppies, and then they would try to sell them, but they didn't know how to sell them. They put one ad out, and then I would get to them and I would be like, I'll buy the whole litter, all of them, I'll take them off your hands. And I would get them at about 300, and I would resell them for like 900 to 1,000. Because every time I made a litter, I never had nothing to spend it on. So I always, if they got funded by my parents, they would loan me money to buy dogs, and I would pay it back, and then I made my own money off of selling my own puppies. And then I would be like, damn, I was always a little hustler. I don't know why, I just wanted to sell shit.
Yeah.
And I would always just be like, damn, I would always want to outsmart shit. And then I'd be like, damn, I'm going to just buy this lady's dogs and bring them home and advertise them, because I know how to advertise them, and they look so damn good, better than mine, or as good as mine, that I would never buy the shitty dogs that people couldn't sell. I would buy the better looking ones. And I knew in my head, I know how to promote, I know how to advertise, I'll sell them quick. And I would. They would give me the paperwork, I would buy the puppies, and I would make X amount of dollars. And then I guess that gave me the confidence to be like, damn, I'm working. I started working like at construction at like after graduation, like at 19 years old. One of my friends got us in because his dad was friends with the owner of Tough Sheds. So he got like 6 of us high school buddies, almost right out of high school, straight into construction. So we were the assistant builders, and I was like, dude, I'm working X amount of hours a week, killing myself. I'm not even home. But on my spare time, I'm making this money off the damn dogs. Fuck having a job. I could make a living off of just breeding dogs if I have more dogs. So like from 20 to 21, when I did have a job, that's when I was, I was 2001, 2000, 2000. By 2010 to 2002, I was already at my house, my new house. So sometime like 2 years before that, because it took me a while to save some money. But yeah, I would say around when I was 20 years old, I was confident enough to be selling dogs, to be like, damn, I can do this and not work and not kill myself and still make more money than I could working. Because I've worked and I've made big paychecks, but I was away from home and I was fucking doing construction. I like construction, but it was still, at that age, I was still killing myself.
Right.
I don't know what. Now I think about it, a kid at 20, say at the beginning at 23 years old, already owning a house and being by himself, handling a mortgage payment, is fucking retarded if you think about it,
Right.
But somehow from the dogs and the passion I had in what I was doing, it didn't work any other way in my brain, because I was like, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna be a breeder of his own bloodline, but have a real bloodline, not like these other people that breed somebody else's dogs for a generation or two, and then steal a good-looking image, a good-looking dog that costs somebody a lot of time. I'm not gonna go market off of that. I'm gonna build my own, and then I'm gonna I met rich people like Richard Barajas that from the Gotti line that didn't have a fucking job. He did what he did, and he had pit bulls, and he survived. And I'm race certified. I met him. He didn't have a job. He had a kennel at his house, and he made a living off of dogs. Tony Moore. He had his own bloodline. I didn't know him, but in the internet, he was big, and I figured this dude was like the rest of the people I met that have a kennel and that breed dogs, because his bloodline is known more than the people that I've met that have a facility at their house and that stay all day at home just selling dogs, and they're selling dogs to the Prince of Dubai and the King of here, and Prince of here. When I was a little kid, I was like, damn, like there can be a living off of this shit. Well, guess what? I ain't fucking working. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of successful at the young age where I was making some sort of money that in my brain, I was like, you know what? I'm modest. I don't need nothing crazy. As long as I can pay my dog food and my house bill, I'm good. I don't even have a stove.
Yeah, that's it.
In my house for a year, almost 2 years. I don't turn on the gas at my house to take a warm shower for like 2 years. I don't know that. Not because I'm broke or I don't cook for myself. I eat out. At that time, I'm waking up, taking a cold shower at 6 in the morning, and then getting out to my dogs. That's how happy I am that I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm waking up early. I don't have no furniture, but what I moved out of my mom's house with, a bedroom set.
Mm-hmm.
And the refrigerator they gave me out of their house, that they bought a new one. That's all I moved into this house for like 2 years. I didn't give a shit. I wanted my property so nobody could tell me nothing about my dogs. I never wanted to lose my dogs. And then little by little, years later, I was able to furnish the house and do my thing with it. But before I did most of that, I put a cement pad down. I built 10 by 10 kennels, saved some more, put another cement pad, built some 10 by 10 kennels, then put an aluminum roof on them. A couple years later, electricity over there. Customer of mine comes and wants to do a trade. Hey, I'll plumb a sewer line with the septic tank and do all the work for a puppy. You know what? I'm tired of dragging shit all the way down the hill. So if you can make it so I could just use the water and wash everything into a septic setup, I'm all for it. So then I made my life easier by doing all this shit, and I'm staying home doing what I love. And like I said, when I was a little kid, I think I've never found this book. Hopefully in the comments, if someone's listening and also saw the cover of this book, it was a big round kennels, big old facility in the cover, and it said how to make $100,000 a year from breeding golden retrievers or whatever. And I got this book in my hand, and I opened it, and there was different people with Doberman kennels and German Shepherd kennels, and everybody's different little setups and little story about their kennels and how they made money. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do this shit. That was my dream, and then I made it into a reality once. I figured out the blue dogs were making so much money at that, the early 2000s.
Now let me ask you this. I saw your original yard tour on YouTube from like years back. Has anything changed since then? Like, have you changed direction at all? Like, I seen the content you sent me, the pictures, videos, and whatnot. But I'm asking, like, just for the listeners, have you changed direction at all from that old yard tour that you did? Is that still your foundation, or?
It's in the foundation, but I've been going in different ventures where my time is limited. So I don't do what I used to do with all my dogs, which I'm trying to do again. I'm into the cars. I got shops, stereo shops, and different partners with different stuff where I can still fully operate my own kennel, but then I got to go hurry up and do these other things and then get back to my dogs. So my days are kind of crazy.
No, I meant more along the lines of, has your blood changed at all from that old video?
No, because I haven't come across to nothing from that old video. What I did when I bred outside my yard was how I started my foundation. Females was a gaudy daughter and a monster daughter, Babs and Hood Rat. And then years later, I developed all this, and I was line breeding a lot of that blood. And then Big Boy is a brother of Monster. So I found the nearest ancestor I could find, which is like a granddaughter that was bred the way I liked it, which went from Big Boy to Maximus to Hefe to this dog I bred to. And I bred my heavily monster bred male, which was War Machine, to that female. And in my mind, I wasn't outcrossing or adding nothing but one more strain of the foundation I started with. That was a litter mate to my best stuff, to what I considered my better stuff. So in my brain, I was like, damn, I wish I can get the muscle structure from that fucking dog in my yard, because I already got the muscle structure and the attitude from Gotti and Monster, and I've line bred it, and I kept a big chest, and that fire comes from Monster in my yard, a monster daughter. So I was like, damn, I don't want to get to a point in the future where I line breed that genetic so close that I have to go look for something else. So
okay,
let me figure out how to bring in that other genetic in the yard, and I'll breed it to my heavily bred, the same genetic, but something that is never been in my blood before, but has the same foundation. Okay. Other than that, everything has been a crazy inbreeding or line breeding, or it's kind of hard to explain if it's an outcross within the same foundation dogs that I started.
I see what you mean. So even if you did outcross, it's outcrossed close. Like
the dogs I originally chose to be qualified to be in my program, but right. Like I said, from doing that over the years, I found out that breeding certain dogs a certain way would give me a certain result, and these other dogs, if I bred them that way, they didn't give. If I closely bred them, line bred them, I wouldn't get the results I wanted. I got too many scattered looking puppies. And the other side of my bloodline, I figured out how to keep a bigger style dog and a smaller style dog, and not let my dogs get too big. I always like to breed to the more athletic, fiery stuff I told you I kept. So I keep my dogs from getting too big and getting that hip displacement or getting that long torso or getting anything weird. And they're always balanced here. When I got a beautiful big ass bitch, I'll breed her to a heavily inbred male that's a lot smaller than her, because in my brain, he won't carry any of the bad hips or the big shit that if you breed big dog to big dog, eventually you're going to get. I do like to breed a big bitch to a big male, but through the years, I know how I want to bred. That's not my primary